All right, ladies and gentlemen, I have two special guests here with me that I don't have a lot of longevity with relationally, but just caught their profile in a collaborative community that I'm part of. And I have Shaun and Betsy Mell with me here this morning. So I'd like to introduce them and just ask them to share their personal journey in regards to how they came to embrace the technology that is changing lives on so many fronts. So, Shaun and Betsy, welcome to the call this morning. And let me just turn it over to you. Give us a bit of background on, what's unfolded in your lives that has caused you to even check out the technology that we're going to be talking about this morning.
Thank you,
Thank you
Don,
so
for
much.
having us. Thank you. And I'm going to let Shaun begin because his story starts a little earlier than mine. So,
Yeah. Thank you, Don. Thank you for having us. My our journey started, I would say, in 2015. I was working at the Union Pacific Railroad. I'd been there for 10 or 12 years, whatever it was. Um, and I had a traumatic brain injury. Fell out of the back of a truck with a brain bleed, and I had a total of three brain bleeds. Um, and at that time, by the grace of God, I was able to heal. But I was on medicine, and the doctors had me on quite a bit of it, and I just didn't feel like me. I knew it wasn't me. So I was looking for anything alternative, to step away from that things. And I kind of have a rumbling in my belly about just pharmaceuticals in general, and just because I was a previous deputy sheriff, earlier in my life, and I'd seen bad things happen to people with pharmaceuticals. I just seen it, and I would get to hear those stories. So I didn't want to become one of those numbers. They're just a personal thing with me. After that brain bleed, the railroad said I was no longer fit to come back to work. They said I was a liability. So um, that started us like I said, to the journey. So we was later on, as I was starting to get better, we decided to go. We had heard of something called the Reawaken America tour, and they was having it locally in Missouri. So we decided to go. While we were there, we ended up um, seeing a silver and gold company, and that was the whole reason. One of the reasons that I was wanting to go, because I felt like God was leading me towards, like, I had a 401k from the railroad that I could no longer contribute to. And like he was whispering, just get that into silver and gold. And like, okay, well, I didn't really know anything about silver and gold. However, while we was there at the Reawaken America tour, we ended up finding out about a company, and it allowed me to roll my 401k over. And after becoming a member of this company, it got my interest in this network marketing, because I didn't know anything about it. But she didn't either. So it was intriguing. Of course, we'd always been told that that was just not really a career. But anyways, I didn't have a career anymore, and I was looking for silver and gold, and this company fit that profile. We really enjoyed that. But that led into when we was at a convention with some other people, Betsy and I, with that company. We seen a woman fall, and she hurt, I believe it was her arm. Um, and that led us into, we seen this technology help that lady right then. And that sparked our interest. Like, wow, we all have medical issues. And my wife will tell you about her medical background here in a moment, and things we were looking for. And when we seen a woman, and she went on and on about how this helped her overnight. And I was like, wow. So that led into Betsy and her friend speaking about this product, and getting interested in it. And I'll just let her kind of take over from there, and let
okay, yeah. So we were doing the silver and gold, and we had met a couple from Arkansas. And at the We're Awakening America tour, he first interacts with a woman named Mary. And Mary was like, we kept meeting people. It was the strangest thing at this reawakening thing that was like, oh my gosh, these people are from angels or something from heaven because it was just weird how the connections were and it was just odd. But anyhow, so we thought, okay, Mary's another angel. So anyhow, we meet her and we got close to her after joining into the silver and gold company, and she was kind of like our mentor. And then she's the one that had said that when we go to this convention, that this lady's arm, she hurt her arm, and there's this little, little patch that she's putting on it. It's really making a difference. And I was like, well, I want to look into that because I have a 20-year career in the medical field as an X-ray technologist. So I had went straight from high school to college for that, and then got right out of college and got a job. And so I was able to work 20 years in it. When COVID hit, I realized right away that something wasn't right. Like I was so adamant that things were wrong that I was actually telling physicians and other coworkers and things like this is not right, and because God was just laying it on my heart and saying, like something's different than what you thought. And it was just a big awakening moment for me. And so then I told Shaun, I was like, I can't keep working in this industry like this. So I at that point was only with the silver and gold, and so was like, I got to get working on this. We realized you could make a career out of it, and so I was like, I got to figure out how we got to do this better so I can just quit working here because I can't do this, or I got to find a different job. And it was really, really scary because it was all I knew since, coming out of high school. It's all I've done. It's what I went to school for. So, um, it's a big leap of faith, but with his support and my other family's support, I was able to jump out of that. But before we left there, we got introduced to these patches and I decided oh, it's definitely the route I want to take because I struggled with the silver and gold, knowing, I'm not a salesman. That was my first problem. And it seemed as though that was more of the way to go with the network marketing, that you got to know how to sell something. And I thought, I'm just not a salesman. I don't want to be a salesman. And I feel like that's what I'm doing. So then when I found this patch and this company, and I noticed it was a little different. So, and it aligned with me better. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna go try this. And so it was again a little scary. I wasn't making the income that that the companies recommend you make before you leave your career. But I took the leap and said, okay, God, I know you'll provide for me because I couldn't stand it. I was to a point where no, I was just shouting it. I mean, literally shouting, not screaming, but going into the doctor's little office and saying, you can't give the patients this medicine. It's killing them. You're killing them. And they just would look at me like I was foreign, or they just didn't want to hear it. So I was at my wit's end and I just decided I was going to do it. So we was in Mary was helping, then we found other teams and people to be involved with that has helped tremendously. And by the grace of God, we're still here. We still have our home. We still have our vehicles and all the things. So he's been a blessing. God has blessed us so much. And I know there's much more to come, but um it's
And
been
you were the patch first.
I did.
Yeah.
Mary gave me the patch. I said, Mary, I gotta have that patch. And she's like, well, she was a little nervous to, I guess, for to introduce it only for the fact that we were already in another MLM together. So she didn't want, us to be like, divided, I guess was the reason. And I said, I don't care. I need something for my neck and back pain. I was having a lot of stress and tension in my shoulders and my neck. And I just wanted something to relieve that. I didn't have a lot of health issue at the time. I didn't feel just that was my main concern. And I said, if it will take away my pain, I want to try it. So she put it on me, and with one try, I wore it. She said, now take this off in 12 hours. I wore it through the night and wore it the whole next day because I could tell it's a big difference. And I was like, she goes, you still got that patch on? I said, yeah, it still sticks. She said, you got to take that off.
She said, I'm still not in pain.
She said, well, you're only supposed to wear it 12 hours. And I said, well, we know it won't kill you if you wear it longer, I guess. But anyway, I automatically could feel a difference in the pain. I worked night shift at the time at the hospital. So my energy and my sleep patterns were all out of whack. and I was just living poor quality is what I felt is poor quality of life for someone in their 30s. It was like I don't feel like doing anything with my family. I go sleep in the daytime. It's just ridiculous. Like, your body just is not meant to do all that. And I did that shift for like 15 years of my 20-year career. So um that was huge savings to me to get through that last little bit. I guess it was probably, I don't know, Shaun, how long I was had the patches while I was working, but however it was a
A
huge
year,
blessing.
almost a year,
Probably about a year that I
almost a year.
was able to wear them to finish out my career there.
Now
And
let me ask you a question at this
yeah,
point,
uh-huh,
please. And like this fascinating story so far, loving this. Um,
good.
because we're breathing hope into people who are in hopeless situations, right? And we get to speak about that. So, were you buying this technology at this point so that you could experience it? Because
Yes,
just based on what you've shared with me, you're, I guess, what we refer to in our inner circles as a one-patch wonder. You experienced benefits pretty much instantly. So much so that you didn't want to take this patch off because
yes,
you were experiencing such great things. So,
yes.
so you decided that you were going to buy these. Did you start sharing this with people right away, or did you want to experience more things? Shaun, were you leveraging this technology by this point? Were you a believer? Like,
No, so she put the patch on me, and I get a lot of tension knots. And of course, I was still, I'm still getting better from, healing naturally from my brain bleeds. But I can't lie, I had a lot of anger issues. Just things would set me off for no reason. Like, and I would even was sad because I would know there was no reason I should be mad, but I was mad. Um, so at that time, that was a lot of the big problems I was having, or one of the main things. But no, I didn't notice anything right away. But when she was so adamant about it, she's like, look, this thing helped me. And I could see the difference in her just being able to move. I was like, well, if it's helping her, then I mean, I looked at the science. I was like, if it helps her, it's got to help me. I just might not feel it yet or realize it just yet. So I continued to wear them. And my sleep, one of the that was another issue that I was having problems with. I had restless leg syndrome, always shaking in the night. I just don't sleep much. And again, I come from a background where I didn't require a lot of sleep, but as I'm getting older, I'm figuring out I really did need that sleep. My body was just acclimated to where it wasn't used to getting it. But I started sleeping sound, and I didn't necessarily sleep like longer. I just slept. I just felt better. I know she would always say, "Man, you wasn't shaking all night long while we were sleeping." So, it just meant little things like that. And then the longer I have worn them, I've seen the results as far as my skin, the difference in how I look. Not only the energy levels that I have now, the weight loss I've experienced, the calmness that I have. I'm on zero pills, pharmaceutical pills. Zero. Um, but to answer your question that you led with, so we was just experiencing it at first. I was just wearing them and really hoping for a prayer. And I think it was about 3 weeks for me really before I started noticing the sleep difference in her. She's like, wow, she's like, you're sleeping better. And then as I put some more of the technology on, I felt energy and stamina out of this world. I'm always a person that is always on the go anyway, but my breath, I could tell when I'm out of breath and I just keep, working, but I don't get those anymore. Like I can breathe better, or I have that energy to go longer, that stamina to where I'm not out of breath anymore. And that helped me drastically in my daily performances and what I did. So yeah, so we didn't start like trying to show the patches to really anyone besides family members because we was extremely excited. And it was like, we'd already talked to them about all of our other, or about our other silver and gold companies. So they're like, oh gosh, here he comes with another. I'm like, no,
The
listen.
demon, no, no.
It's like, no, God bless me with something with our finances. Truthfully, our money should be backed by gold and silver. It truly should be gold and silver. So that was really, I'm like, I'm helping people with their wealth. And now God's put in my hands something I can help them with their actual their health. And so now they're gonna have health and wealth, and this is great. And not only does this technology, it can really potentially help you with your own wealth, and all by just sharing something. So it was amazing to me. It was groundbreaking for me because again, I don't come from a background of this. I'm just an old railroad, an old railroader or a cop. That's all I knew. So, but yeah,
Yeah, I was a one patch wonder and I knew right away I wanted to buy these things. And so we did end up purchasing them for ourselves and for our family. And whenever our immediate family, and whenever we started wearing them, we kind of went gung ho, like just put them, like we purchased more than just one of the patches, and we wanted to try them all. And so our record keeping at the beginning, as far as like, watching our bodies and how it changed, in different time frames, we really didn't, because we just knew this worked. I mean, I knew, like you said, I was a one patch wonder. It worked for me right away. So I was like, I'm getting these things. And so when we would wear them, all they did work. And now, like, we're a year and a half into wearing them, and there's just been amazing things happen to our bodies, even though maybe throughout the last year, whatever, we wouldn't really have noticed. Now, after this length of time, we're going, wow, I did have those. When someone else mentions something, you go, oh my gosh, I did have those eye floaters, and I don't have them anymore. Something like that that I didn't remember dealing with originally. So it's so cool because I mean, I should have done a better health tracking at the beginning, but it's cool to look and see. And then, I can also say, I'm just saying, I do have some gray hairs here, but my hair, this is natural, and I had a lot of gray for years. I dyed my hair, and this was another thing that through COVID, I was like, I'm just going to stop. I'm going to go. It just something was telling me I'm going to go natural. I'm not going to care about all that stuff anymore. And it saves me money. So yeah, so I quit dyeing my hair, and I was like, I don't care what the outcome is. I am what I am, and I'm like, I'm loving this idea that my grays might all go away here soon on their own with
Yeah,
this
it's
technology.
interesting when I look at you and I see the section of gray that doesn't come from your scalp, it's halfway down. So the hair that's growing in is growing in dark.
I know it. It's really cool. So I was in the process of making a video about that because it's exciting to me. So I know it has
Very
to be
cool.
for other women if they know that this can help them. So
the
So
technology is amazing.
yeah, let me ask you, are you kind of on a mission now to help spread this news to anybody who listens?
yes. Yes, that is our mission. We've really so the people in our family or that was close to us that's tried this technology, they're still wearing it too. So from the very beginning, the was my sister, his parents, my parents, some of our closest family members, we said, you got to try this. And I was so like, listen here, it works, I promise you. And they've tried it and they know it works too, and they're sharing it too. So yeah, we're very excited to try to get people to just give it a shot, because, and again, it doesn't always work with the first time like it did for me. It can, but it may not. And but we've seen that if you give it enough time, it will work for everyone. Everyone has stem cells, right? So it can't
Yeah,
not
that's the
work.
thing, right? And don't be shy of, mentioning what this technology does in regards to, the stem cell activity that takes place in our bodies, because uh, it's a known fact that as we age, our stem cell activity begins to diminish. And so, the more people I talk to and the more interviews I do like this, I find just such a variance, just such a wide range of benefits And, not everybody's going to be that one patch wonder. I experience things quickly, my wife not so much, but we're diehards. We will never ever uh, stop doing what we're doing because of the benefits we've experienced. And so, if you had just an opportunity to share with the audience that's watching this or that will watch this, um, what's the one thing you would ask any maybe doubtful people out there to do in order to experience this technology?
Well, I think I would probably just ask them to give it a try because I know after being in the medical field and seeing how it's dysfunctional, really, it's not intended to heal our bodies. I know there's emergency medicine, and I know that that is a good thing when we have, emergencies or whatever come up, we need an emergency room or a doctor at that time. But for all the rest of it, it's sad. It's not health care, and it's not helping anybody. It's actually making you more sick. And so when I seen this technology and I knew that the whole reason I went into the medical field was to help people. That was what my heart was for when I was young. And I was like, well, okay, I can help people through this. And I had family members who were in the same field, and I was like, okay, I was, watching what they did. And it's amazing how you don't have to know anything about you don't have to have a nursing degree, you don't have to have a doctorate's degree, and you can go and have such influence on people and their health just because you worked in the hospital. And so I realized that people will listen. They're looking for they're looking for good advice from someone they trust. So it doesn't, I thought, okay, well, if I have people's trust in the hospital, I can still then divert it over to this and say, listen, you maybe trusted me when I worked there, but here's what I'm telling you. I did research on some of the things that they're doing there, and it's not good for us. So what I'm saying is I found this product now, and it has helped me, it has helped my family and lots more other people. And I believe that it can help you too. And so like if people just give it a try and give it time to work, because again, you go to the doctor, they put you on a medication. They're going to tell you now it's going to take a couple months to get this in your system and it might take a while for it to work. Well, it's no different, right? Our bodies need time to adjust to whatever you're giving it or putting in it or whatever it might be. And so, yeah, I'm definitely advocating to try these patches and give them a chance because God God really has done wonders in our life in the year and a half that we've been wearing them. And okay, Shaun and I have a big secret. It's not even a secret because we're telling everybody, but
Is
it
is
is,
it about to be revealed here?
yeah, we could do.
Wow.
So I was okay, for since a young age, I was on birth control, and I knew in my heart of hearts that it was the wrong thing to do, but the world says it's okay, and so I thought it was okay. I made an excuse and said it was, and so I would go off the birth control to try to have children. And with my first daughter, it was a month and we were pregnant. With my second daughter, it was a couple months and we were pregnant. And then I would just go back on the birth control after I had my children because I was on a blood pressure medication and they told me that I couldn't get pregnant while on that. So there was always an excuse for me to be on that medication. Well, I was on it for years, and we were going to have three children, and we were going to space them. We had our own plan. We didn't ask God about it. We just said we're going to do this. Okay, so 3 years, and it worked with the first two, but then the second child comes around, and 3 years after having her, we go to have go off the birth control to try to have another one, and it was about a year to a year and a half, and nothing happened. And I said, Shaun, I don't know, maybe we can't have any more, or maybe it's just not God's will. So I went back on the birth control for again until it was 2000. 17 to 18, somewhere in there, I decided, again, this was when I was more aware of my health, and decided I'm not doing this anymore. It's not good for my body. I am doing the wrong thing by God. I'm just done with it. And so I just went off of it, and went off the blood pressure medicine too at the same time, because I didn't want to be on any medications. And so,
Which I still believe that blood pressure medicine is what caused our second child had a birth defect called
yes.
gastroschisis. And
Uh-huh.
anyways, that's a whole different topic, but go ahead.
But yeah, so then there was some issue with that. And so I just thought, okay, our child had a birth defect. Maybe God doesn't want to put us through something like that again, which is all just warped human thinking. But I went off of that, and so it'd been, okay, 6 years, 6 years, nothing, you know. And then I was so sick in October, so sick for like 3 weeks, and I
On the
decided,
patches, and we couldn't figure out
yeah,
what was going on. It's
yeah,
like, you don't
been
ever get
sick,
sick.
been sick. And I thought something's really wrong with me. Well, I won't go into all the detail, but I thought I might have poisoning and all kinds of things. I was in denial, I think, because I had missed my period, but I just wasn't thinking that pregnancy was a possibility. But we are pregnant.
Oh,
We are pregnant. And so that is something, we have a 19-year-old and a 17-year-old, and now we are having a baby. But to put it into bigger perspective, our 19-year-old is got married last August, and she is pregnant too. So and she does wear the patches as well. So
Yeah.
I'm just saying, all those instances where my hormones were out of whack, because they really were. I was having symptoms of that,
She was crabby
premenstrual,
too. I mean, I'm not seriously, like
I know, yeah,
it was okay.
premenstrual was rough. Okay, so the week before and all that thing. So that I seen that slowly getting better with the patches. Sean would go, "Oh yeah, you don't have a headache," because I would get headaches every week before,
You
and
stay away. If she's got a headache, just stay away.
it's awful. And so I was like, yeah, I do notice that's getting better. And then, I mean, 6 years. I was like, okay, we're pregnant, we're doing this thing. So yeah, God has blessed us with a miracle. That's what it is. It's a
Yeah.
miracle. Two of them.
absolutely amazing. So you're actually growing the Lifewave family in multiple ways.
Yes, yes.
How cool is that?
Yeah.
It
And
is so cool.
you know, I had to use the company name in that sentence because this is miraculous.
It is. It
It's
truly is a
absolutely incredible.
miracle. Hmm.
I don't even have time to sit here and tell you the stories that by introducing these patches to some of my family members, of the testimonies that they have and the healings that they've received. I mean,
Well, well, here, Sean, I think you do have the ability because you can do what I'm doing here with you with your family members and share those stories with the
Yes.
public. If you need any help on that front, reach out to me and let me know. I'll coach you through that if
okay.
that's something that you really want to do, because I don't think there are enough of us, despite the numbers growing, who are sharing this truth with people. And it's getting to a place where the scale is tipping and it's becoming undeniable. And I'm so grateful, Betsy, that you brought up the fact that the medical community themselves, when prescribing medication, will tell the patient, like, this will take maybe a couple of months for you to experience the benefits that we're looking to drive. And we hear that, but often I think that message gets lost because we're reading all of the potential side effects that come with all of this. And so I'm just grateful that you raised that topic in regards to this. So patience is required for this because, when we look at some of the people that were helped with this technology, and a lot of them from my era, the boomer area, right? Um, we've had chronic pain. We've been suffering from things for long periods of time. And, someone comes along and shares this technology with us, and, we've been suffering for such a long time. We want that instant gratification. Despite the fact that we live in an environment and a time where, people get impatient by the microwave now. And that always makes me nervous, right? We want
Yep.
things instantly. And so, just to raise the awareness around the fact that be patient with this and allow your body to regulate itself, because you are equipping it to do what God designed your body to do, and that's heal itself, right? And
That's
so there's no denying that, no denying that at all. So, Shaun, for you, in the work field, being told by them that you're a liability and then finding something like this that has absolutely no concern in regards to any of that. In fact, looking to equip you with better health and longevity and just a clean slate. It doesn't matter, what your education is. It doesn't matter what you've done previously. This is such an equal playing field for anybody who's willing to share truth, to step into and make a difference in a hurting world right now. So thank you both for the time you've taken to sit down with me here and share your story. Any parting words from you?
Um, no, I just to piggyback off of what you said, it's it truly is rewarding, and I would have never thought it. It was flipping the mentality, that switch in my head that I'm not selling, I'm sharing. And when you're passionate about something, and when you see the miracles happen, and you will, and in my opinion, I've just seen too many of them. You just give it time, you're going to see the miracles. It's I mean, to I can't imagine being blessed by helping other people. So it's been so beneficial to me, to my family. It's done so many different things, and I would have never, ever thought I would have been here.
yeah.
Not even 6 years ago, not, but especially 10, 15 years ago. It's changed my life. And I mean, nothing happens nothing any good happens quick. I've noticed that, just like you got to give things a try. You got to give things and just have patience. And when you do, blessings will come. So I would just tell anybody, if you're looking to help your health, change what you've been doing, give something else a try, and look into some different technologies that God's blessing us with.
Yeah, and I would just
Wise
like to
counsel, my friend.
I would just like to add that giving the patches the time and being patient is would be a huge blessing to you, because not only we've seen a few people that we that wanted to try them, and they gave them like 2 to 3 months, and they still didn't. They were making them more sicker, and kind of they were, because they were having what you call Herxheimer or a detox effect, which can happen. It depends on how toxic your body is. And so those people gave up too soon, and it was kind of sad and tragic to us, because we knew they were helping them, but they couldn't see past that. Well, they're making me worse, or they're making me icky and whatever. It was like, yeah, but just give it a little more time, because that's part of the process. Sometimes it depends on your body. And so I would just, again, with that instant gratification, because you're right, we're all that way in this world and society. Just you didn't get in the health that you're in, in overnight, or in a month, or in 3 months. It took years. I mean, I don't know your ages, but it took years. And so you got to give things an actual fair chance. And these things are really, they're a godsend. They really are. And I am so thankful for the inventor, and so thankful for the many um, more things he has to come, because it's going to be awesome. It's going
The
to be so
future,
awesome.
the
So yeah,
future
it's just so
certainly is
exciting.
bright. The future certainly is bright. And I'm
Yes.
grateful that you raised, what within our community. We know because, like, this isn't flash in the pan. This is a 20-year-old company with an incredible track record on the pain front and on the science front. The patents the science itself, the trials, the clinical trials, all of that, like everything is there. The various communities, like the athletic community and the medical community, who are turning to this, the holistic healers, the light workers, the Reiki practitioners. We look at all of these people who've been searching for a long time for a truly holistic approach. And we have our mitts on it, we have our hands on it. And, enough people have used this and experienced things like, some of your family members have, where, they talk about like retracing. And, because this technology really begins to work at deep levels in our systems and detox from things that like have been bad for us, and but habits we picked up and we live with and everything else. Yeah, there's a segment of the population who begin to experience a lot of discomfort as their bodies begin to detox. But if we can educate them enough to allow them to know that that will pass, and it's really their body healing. It isn't this technology making them sick. It's this technology helping rid them of some of those symptoms. So I'm
It's like
grateful
when
that
you
you
work
raised
out a
that point.
muscle.
Yes.
When you work out a muscle that's sore, but there's a reaction. So you kind of got to expect that sometimes. So,
Absolutely. Absolutely. But we don't want to, right? Like again, living in that age
right,
of instant
right.
gratification, like I should be able to put this on and run that marathon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that'd be great, but
Yes. So look, ladies and gentlemen, just two gems right here. Um, I want to thank you both for taking time out of your day to share your story and the incredible news. I don't know like who else knows about this. I'll be mindful in regards to posting this. So what I I'd like to do, I it just, on top of all of the goodness that this technology delivers to people, hearing stories like yours, just like it's icing on the cake.
yeah.
It's phenomenal. So I'll be getting this posted and out to people, but um, ladies and gentlemen, I'm just going to say goodbye right now. Thank you so much, Shaun and Betsy, and we'll be talking to you on the flip side. All right.
Thank
All
you,
right. Thank
Don,
you,
so
Don.
much for this
You're most
opportunity.
welcome.
Appreciate it.
Okay.